folks. It's Joe Monday. And I know I'm blowing up your feed. Maybe a little bit. You might be thinking, this is another episode of RSF Radio. Happy days. This is good news. However, I'll inform you, no, actually, not really good news. And I say that because Capcom made an announcement recently that has put me... I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't really know what to think about it. Because there's been a lot of conversations through various forms of social media. Lots of people on Twitter blowing things up. A lot of people in the subreddit having some disagreements of whether or not this is good or bad. But I wrote down my thoughts as of right now on Capcom implementing incentivized ad space in Street Fighter V. Because it's complex, right? In the world of advertising, it's not... Like, advertising can be very good, but some elements of it can be bad or predatory. And I wanted to talk through that a little bit and just get it out there and maybe have a conversation about this moving forward, because it's hit me. I'm still reeling from this, and part of it is because so many people seem okay with everything as a whole, and they see that, oh, if you can turn it off, it's fine. And I don't think that's actually... I think that's where the conversation starts. I don't think that's where the conversation ends, and we'll get to that. So I've written this down, so if it sounds a little stunted or written, it's because it's written. But anyway, to be clear, I have no issues with Capcom implementing sponsored content. None at all. Allowing outside entities to sponsor your product is a good way of getting the funding to continue to provide a decent product, like ads on TV, ads on podcasts, or to local businesses sponsoring youth sports. They're all mutually beneficial, and they're ways to keep the lights on, keep things moving. And to that end, I trust that Capcom will be working with sponsors who have been supportive of the FGC for a long time now. Growing positive relations between hardware manufacturers, event organizers, or big money entities like Red Bull or Cygames. This would be great because historically they've all proven to support the community and care for the community. They have a whole history of that. So ads can be good for everyone. And at the end of the day, if that means that Capcom can continue to put more money back into supporting the game, which people enjoy and take it further, just helps the community out, then I'm all for it. That part's good. That's where sponsored content can be very good for everyone involved. Not just Capcom, not just the sponsors, but us as well. So now let's take a look at incentive-based advertisements. This particular brand of ad has proven to be extremely effective in boosting engagement. Even better is that we know Capcom is tracking exactly how much time users are spending in every game mode. Just look at dojo points, for example. They know how to distribute those because they know exactly the things that you're doing within their systems. So they're going to have a lot of data to show potential investors that people are spending X amount of people are actively choosing to spend X amount of time to view this specific ad. Like their eyes are going to be on this for X amount of times, and they're going to opt into it. And that particular metric of users intentionally choosing to see ad space is extremely attractive to any kind of sponsor. And all of that is good for the company and potential investors. That's good to have that data. But anyway, I digress. The bad part about incentive-based ads, and if you look into it, which I did a little bit of reading, is that the data shows that people After that initial interaction of choosing to view an ad or interact with it, they're not actually engaging with it, with the ad itself. People are engaging with the act of being advertised to, and not the ad itself. So if you've ever loaded up a Twitch ad for bits, lowered the volume or tabbed out, then you kind of understand where I'm coming from, or how it would appear that a user is engaging with an ad, but you actually have zero intention of interacting with that ad or sponsor. So we have this sponsored content, and Capcom is showing that there's all this user engagement, but then maybe to the people who are sponsors, there might not actually be actual engagement. It's ineffective, and these sponsors might not be getting the value from this that they're seeking in support of this Street Fighter V Capcom product. So now that kind of explains incentive-based ads a little. That's the kind of good and a little bit of bad side from the money side. Here's the dystopian horror part of it that I think I take umbrage with. I think. This is where my guts are being punched. So let me tell you a story first instead. So a couple months back, I was spending some time with my nephew. He's about 5 years old. And he was showing me a game he was playing on his tablet. There's an entirely different conversation to be had about being responsible with technology that you introduce to your kids, but I'm not an actual father. I have no business telling parents how to raise their kids. I digress. Now, something that happened, though, was that at some point during his play, the game asked him if he wanted to view an advertisement in exchange for the in-game currency, and he quickly hit OK, and a commercial started playing for the exact type of fruit snack that he was currently eating. My mind was fucking blown. How many times has he been encouraged to view ads and been rewarded with something that he desired? How many times has he been conditioned to actively seek out and engage with advertisements in order to get what he wants? The difference between simply being shown an ad and choosing to view an ad and subsequently being rewarded for viewing an ad is very subtle in practice, but psychologically that difference is, or at least it appears huge. To me, it feels huge. That's the thing. There's no studies that show the negative psychological effects that this type of advertising might have, but regardless of what effects it's having, that's his reality. That's this kid's reality. He's growing up with this now. So now we have Street Fighter V with this rewards-based advertisements. So if I'm a kid that has more time than money, and I want to unlock a particular costume, buy a character, or get extra fight money to engage with Street Fighter V's special brand of loot boxes, fucking Christ, then why would I ever turn off the ads? If I turn off the ads, then I'm missing out. I'm not getting to buy... I'm probably not going to buy a gaming chair, but I definitely want to turn on those unintrusive ads because I'd be missing out on the reward for doing so. I could turn it off, but I want it to be on because I benefit from it. I might be able to see why that's a little gross, and you might be able to see why that type of advertisement can be troubling, but a child will grow up in a world where this is normal. That's the issue here to me. Now, at this point, I know I'm sounding like a curmudgeon, and the easy rebuttal to what I'm saying is very clearly and very obviously, but you can turn them off. And the fact that you can turn them off is the problem. It's not the solution. And now, ultimately, I feel kind of alone in thinking any of this is strange. By saying that you can turn the ad off, you're also saying that you're okay with, and not considering the implications of society having the option to be rewarded for viewing ads. The listen to my timeshare presentation and get a $20 gift card approach has been around for a long time, sure, but it's being implemented in a product you paid money for in the first place, targeted at a younger demographic. It makes me feel, I don't know, it makes me feel like we're a generation away from people being okay with the ad buddy scene from Maniac. If you've watched that, it's that Netflix special. Watch it. If you don't know what the ad buddy is, Google it. It freaks me out. I mean, listening to advertisements from someone who's coming in with a briefcase to show it to you specifically in order to pay for goods and services, and it's like, fuck, man. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. But maybe corporate entities having that much influence in our day-to-day life is a bad thing. Again, I digress, but that's the kind of headspace that I'm in right now. Because when you zoom in and look at it as mutually beneficial for Capcom securing funding, for the sponsors who are getting user engagement, and for the user for receiving that reward of fight money, it all looks really great for everybody. Everybody wins. But when I zoom out and think about the human cost of this, where I'm just not on board. And again, that might be a personal problem, but I wanted to get that out there. So if any of that is confusing or just seems not correct at all, please let me know. I want to have a conversation about this because this one's hitting me in the guts. I want to know if anyone else is having the same visceral reaction that I am. So that's a quick one, folks. I'm going to turn off this recording device and I'll sleep on this. But if I don't catch you before then, have a good weekend, folks. And I will catch you again on Thursday, if not before then. But peace.